where time meets style.
Johnny Lamb, what's up, man? Welcome back to Time Meets Style. You are our first repeat guest, so I don't know what that says, whether we can't get anybody on the podcast or you're just a really good friend.
No, it just means you're desperate as
Yeah,
shit,
I'm
and I have
completely
nothing to
desperate.
do, so.
You know, yeah. Time Meets Style was Time Meets Style 1 was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I think it went viral with all 37 viewers on YouTube.
Yay!
So yeah. No, we're definitely we are starting from the bottom and we are working our way up. And you know what? We're having fun. We're having a lot of fun as we go, right? Yeah. Hey, so what were some impressions from the first podcast episode? I think you may have been one of those viewers on YouTube and you saw some of the reels cut. What were some of your impressions coming out of that?
Well, I mean, I don't typically watch myself type of thing, but there's a reason for that because now I got to watch what I say type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, for the first one, you know, it's what it was expected to be, right? You know, we're just trying to find our way, you know, and trying to keep the conversation going. So, you know, I like the conversational perspective of it as opposed to you just asking me questions. You know, it's like most podcasts, I'll be honest, you know, I like things that are more conversational than it is just asking me questions.
Our experience in sales and like leading discovery calls allows us to be more conversational. As opposed to just being like, because like the most important question that you ask is the follow-up question. It's not the question. And like, that's how you get the conversation going. And I think most people don't understand that. You know, I was talking to Rachel about Time Meets Style 1. I don't think she's watched any of my content that I've ever produced, but she did watch that one, and she loved it. And she actually told me that she didn't realize you were such a romantic.
How so?
The story that you shared about how you drove across the country for love from Berkeley to Boston, I think that really surprised her, you know?
Dude, I didn't have a choice, brother. Right? But no, it was I appreciate that. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, look, you know, people who quasi know me, right? Know, let me withdraw the phrase. People who think they know me, right? Think I'm just an asshole 24/7. Right? Mm-hmm. That's not true. I'm an asshole 23/7. There's that 1 hour where I'm not an asshole. Right.
But are you really an asshole if you're an equal opportunity asshole and that you're an asshole to everybody? Doesn't that kind of just make it normal? And you're just like that's just you.
Yeah.
Right? Because like an asshole is when you're like surprised that someone's an asshole. So.
True. That is true. I mean, I stopped giving a shit what people think about me a while ago. Right. Except for my friends.
That's key, man.
You know, my friends' opinions matter to me. But the ones, you know, I have a small circle of friends and they matter to me. But everybody else, they could really, you know, I'll hear what they have to say, but most of the time I'll just disregard it as a fuck off type of thing. Right? If you have a problem with me, I've always said, if you have a problem with me, text me. Right? If you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me.
So, you know, it's been probably 6 weeks or so since we first connected. What have you been wearing lately in terms of watches and sneakers? Have you picked up anything new? Have you put on any different combinations? What's going on there?
My Omega guy hit me up. My dealer in Hawaii hit me up with a couple of pieces. I gotta be honest, man. Omega hasn't been living up. I don't want to say living up to their standards because they haven't. I just feel like they have so many variations of the same model, right? It just gets watered down. You know, shoes wise, I mean, I'm still, you know, there hasn't been anything. I mean, I'm excited about the releases this year that I've already seen. But nothing that came out that makes me go, I got to cop a pair.
Yeah.
It just seems like everything as of late, it's still early in the season, right? We're only into March right now, right? I mean,
it's very
springtime,
early,
summertime. Yeah, it's usually when things kind of just kick off. So I'm waiting for that. But, you know, I've been wearing my, you know, my Seamaster. I mean, that's my go-to. Planet Ocean. Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's one of those tool watches that I actually use, right? As opposed to just wearing it.
And what did your Omega AD hit you up with? What was he trying to get you to buy?
Let's see. He hit me up. So here's the thing. I've been on the list, right? The quote unquote list for the Snoopy, right?
Okay.
For those 3 or 4 years ago. I had a chance to buy the Snoopy, and because COVID hit, I was just kind of like, I'm going to hold off on it. And then when I hit him back up a couple of weeks, actually a couple of years ago, they kind of play that game, right? Well, yes, you're still on the list, but why don't you buy something else first, right? Buy something else first, and the Snoopy will automatically be or magically be available to you, right?
Right. Yeah, of course.
I refuse to play that fucking game. I'd rather
no, you shouldn't. You should not play that game.
Yeah, and it gets irritating just because of how much in the past, right? How much I've spent there in the past. It's like, dude, just fucking just do the right thing. But I guess that's what everybody does now, right?
So did he hit you up for a Snoopy?
No, he hit me up. Well, let's see. Oh, shit. He just sent me another email.
Just now?
Hope you're well. Yeah, just now. Actually, I just got it. He sent that last night.
Nice.
Hey, shoot. He has a Snoopy for me at list.
Dude.
Should I get it?
Fuck yeah.
Yes, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm getting it. I have a piece
for
you.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Yeah.
Hey, how about that?
Right, I take back what I said. I'm an asshole again. I take back what I said.
You love Omega.
So I want to buy anything. Cool.
Yeah, you have a great relationship with your AD. He's the man. No, that's great.
Yes,
that's great.
Is. Yeah. Wow. I'm glad I checked my email.
Bye. Love that.
Yeah. I will buy.
So I've picked up a few different pieces to trade lately. I've been buying really heavy into Panerai lately.
Really?
I have, yeah.
To trade for yourself?
To trade.
Okay.
Pretty much everything is to trade. They're the only pieces that I keep. Well, the only pieces that I keep are the ones that directly match a sneaker. If it doesn't directly match a sneaker where I've got like a killer combination and like some really cool story, like I'm pretty much trading in and out of it. So I'm buying it to sell it. So I've had a lot of success with like the 8-day GMTs and the white dial Panerais. And I actually had a green rubber strap on a white dial Panerai that I did really well on eBay.
Yep.
Actually sold it to the CEO of some company in Texas. And then I sold my 8-day GMT as a black dial to some guy out in like Irvine, California, off of Chrono 24. So that was that was like really good. Good deal flow there. I actually just picked up a few more Panerai from my dealer in Japan, and they're arriving today. So I'm excited about that. Excited. And then I've got some Planet Oceans on the way as well, and a Navitimer, a blue dial, black sub dial, 43 millimeter Navitimer, which I've done really well trading in and out of those too. Yeah.
Okay. Panerai, I mean, I'm a fan. I guess I'm a fan of Panerai. I'm not a fan of wearing a Panerai because of such small wrists. It makes me look like I'm wearing a beep on my wrist.
A wall clock on your wrist. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? And then from a sneaker standpoint, I actually just put into the draw on Confirmed yesterday's, which is the Adidas app. They actually have these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I've seen those
sneakers. I'm trying to get those. I really want those, man.
You want the whole set? All four?
Do they come in the variations of like Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo,
I think
Raphael?
It does. I think it does.
Okay, yeah, because I just submitted for one, and I think it was like Raphael, maybe. that it was like his
The red
collar.
one?
Yeah, the red one. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
dude, they look cool, man. Like with the army green.
Yeah, like the
It looks
green and the
legit.
red stripe it's a nice combo. It's a really nice
Yeah.
combo. So
You know what?
I'm in
might
on
be
those. I
wrong.
think the
I might
draw
be wrong.
closes on Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just a red one. I think it's just red stripes. You might be
Okay,
right.
yeah, that's right. They probably will come out with other variations if this one does well, which I think
You
it
would
will.
think so.
There's so much nostalgia around the turtles, that I'm sure people of like our generation will be trying to cop. So,
God,
hey, so I know that
yeah.
Omega, they recently introduced their white dial Speedmaster.
Hate them.
Right.
I hate them.
So you were kind of talking about earlier, Omega's kind of doing everything the same. Yeah, I kind of feel like it's a little bit more the same here. It's like, oh, it's a white dial. How much? I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about that exactly, and I'm wondering, like, what's your opinion on it?
I mean, they already did the white dial with the Swatch collaboration, so why put another white dial on, right? You're kind of like I said, or the way I've texted you, and I said it kind of cheapens the brand a little bit, right? Just the way it looks. But that's just personal opinion. I mean, I didn't like the collaboration with Swatch in the first place, but putting another white dial out, that's not a Snoopy. I'm just kind of like, we're kind of reaching here. We're just trying to put too much out there. I mean, that's kind of the knock on Omega, though, isn't it? It's not because it's a bad brand. It's because it's so available to everybody. There's, you could buy, gosh, I mean, how many variations are there on, say, the James Bond, right? There's a few variations there, right? And then there's, yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as scarcity when it comes to Omega.
Except the Snoopy. But the Snoopy is still available, but you're going to pay a market value price.
Can't get it.
You guys who just got a Snoopy.
Says the people who can't get it.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I still believe that like Omega still has like an amazing reputation in the market. There's just a huge install of fans.
Yeah,
for their
I think they're like the third. Aren't they like the
Speed
third
Masters,
highest selling luxury watches? I think it was behind Rolex and maybe
Cartier.
Yeah. Cartier.
I think it was Cartier. It was probably number 2. Yeah, which is interesting, right? I actually just picked up a Cartier Santos Dumont.
Really?
Yeah. I just picked one up, and I do intend to sell it. But it's a really nice piece. I was actually a little bit surprised. It's a quartz movement. It's not an automatic. So that was a little bit surprising, but it is a beautiful piece. It is really beautiful.
About Cartiers, let me ask you this: do you see them as an actual player, or do you see them as more of a luxury brand?
What do you mean, a player?
In the space, right? I mean, your players are usually like your APs, your Rolex, your VCs, your pairings, right? I see Cartier besides like the tank, the American. To me, it could be like fashion watches.
Yeah, it's definitely a different style. It's much more of I would say it's much less sporty,
right,
than most of these brands like Breitling and Omega and Panerai, which have kind of the affiliation with aviation or ocean or racing or whatever.
Right.
Like Cartier doesn't necessarily have that association. It is much more luxury focused. But I think they do have kind of like a sporty watch, which is pretty popular, which is the Caliber de Cartier. That's actually a really nice watch. I haven't handled one of those personally, but I want to. And I think those do actually trade pretty well.
Are you ever going to carry JLCs?
Probably not in inventory, but I would broker one if somebody
Really?
asked. If somebody asked, yeah, because I think their Master Composer line, if I think I'm citing that correctly, their Master Composer line I think is pretty popular. Again, that's a brand and kind of like a buy that would be similar to an Omega or like a Cartier,
Really?
like a JLC, yeah.
Yeah, JLC. The only thing I like from I wouldn't say the only thing. The thing that catches my eye that I would spend money on is like a vintage Reverso. I would probably
yeah, the Reverso, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would probably look at those for JLCs.
Right.
They're classic. I like them.
Yeah. JLCs are nice. You brought up AP recently. John Mayer's got a new AP collab, right? And I think I texted you this, right? Like, I don't think I've ever listened to a John Mayer song ever. I couldn't give you the name of one song.
Sure.
But holy shit, is he popular with like watches? He's got obviously like the Rolex, Daytona, like the green dial, brick. It's freaking crazy.
I mean, he is one of those collectors that we all strive to be, right? But it's one of those, I don't have the fucking money to do it, right? I mean, he can. He's got unlimited, finite amount of money. And it's funny the way that he collects watches versus someone like a Kevin O'Leary type of collecting watches, okay, from Shark Tank, right? He is a true collector. John Mayer is a true collector and a true appreciator of watches and horology, right?
Sure.
If you listen to him talk about watches, it's movements, it's
right.
The provenance, right? It's the history. It's, and he knows, what makes a timepiece special, right? Different markings. Whereas Kevin O'Leary is, I like the color of the dial. I'm going to change it to a red strap. And what is the limited amount, or what is the number on this? Is there just a limited amount? So, they're like two types of collectors, right? I kind of geared towards more on the John Mayer side, the nerdier side, and like the Ed Sheeran. Like Ed Sheeran is another guy, right?
Yeah.
They have awesome like knowledge within timepieces, and they also have timepieces that are, curated for them, but also that are created for them as well, right?
Yeah,
that's
cool.
That's kind of like the whole "fuck you" mentality. It's like, hey, I can get my own AP, right? How many guys can say that?
Not many. I mean, and AP's doing a lot more of that. Like, I think they had which I did not like at all, the Marvel line. I thought it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolute trash. But then you've got, but then the Travis Scott Cactus Jack AP Royal Oak, I think is like very cool. I think that was very, very cool. In the John Mayer, the recent introduction, I think is beautiful. It's an amazing dial, and I'm a big fan of the way it looks for sure. I think he did a great job.
Talking about the blue one?
Yeah, the recent AP.
Is it the blue dial?
Yeah, blue dial. Yeah, it's like kind of like a starry dial.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
It looks like the Paddock had when that came out. It's like the Constellation that came out not too long ago. Kind of looks like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's how you know you made it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cactus Jack's AP looks nice as well, man.
What's that?
Cactus Jack's AP.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. It's very nice. It's very, very nice. Speaking of Cactus Jack, right? He's done a lot of collaborations with Jordan. I've got one of them behind me here, the Jordan 6. The olive green. It's definitely one of my favorite sneakers to wear because I love green. I think it's probably my favorite color. And I actually saw a video kind of circulating around social media recently about some guy. I have no idea who he was, but he was asked the question. He's like, when is too old to wear Jordans? And his answer was, if you're over 40, you probably shouldn't be wearing Jordans. And I'm over 40. I know you're over 40. I wear Jordans. I know you wear Jordans. So like, what's your answer to that question? Like, when is too old to be wearing Jordans? And is there even an age where you are too old to be wearing Jordans?
go fuck right off. Seriously, hey, don't fucking tell me what to wear.
Right? Absolutely,
fuck right off. Second, if you're it's not about. To me, it's not about age. It's can you pull it off, right? Do you have the confidence to pull it off?
Right.
If you wear it, own it. Own the look. You could be 60. Dude, I've seen dudes who are like 60 still, wearing, Dunks and Jordan lows, right? It's just how you own it. But any asshole who says you can't wear Jordans after the age of 40, fucking seriously, dude, go play in traffic. There's so many guys out there, and they're
playing real life Frogger.
Right? 5 lanes of traffic. But no, I don't believe there should be an age limit. I think if it's, if you're comfortable wearing it, own the look.
Yeah.
But I do think, look, dude, I mean, probably double standard. There are certainly some Jordans that are a little bit out there, right? Colorways wise, which I think, should be appropriate. But again, it goes back to your outfit too, right? I mean, depends on what you wear. But short answer is, I don't give a fuck. Wear whatever you want, right? Just as long as you're happy.
Yeah, wear whatever you want. I would say, like, anybody that fears wearing a Jordan at any age, it's 100% because you have no confidence and you have no idea what you're doing. There are, or you just have like a misconception around them and that they're only for kids, right? And so,
good point.
And so I would argue that there are Jordans out there like one of my favorite Jordans. I think it may have been like regarded as sneaker of the year a couple years ago, or maybe it was the Lost and Founds, but it was right up there. Was like the Jordan 4 Amamanyes, which is, I mean, those shoes. I picked up a pair last year. Are just fantastic. They have like diamond stitching interior, so comfortable. It's like a pillow. And then just like the exterior color, it's kind of like a very muted, like reddish purplish. Just like hits really hard. And I would say like that shoe, you would get compliments wearing that shoe with almost anything, because
let me ask you this, E, when you buy shoes for yourself, right? What is the first, I mean, obviously colorway, it's probably one of the first things you look at, right?
Yeah.
Besides that, right, what are the buying factors for you?
Yeah. What would fit into my collection is a buying factor. So like, I actually have started to collect more Jordan 4s. When I first started to like really collect sneakers, I actually did not like Jordan 4s. And they have like very much grown on me in the past year. So I've kind of been like purposefully trying to add a nice Jordan 4 to my collection here and there. And that was one of my like top targets was that particular collaboration and silhouette. So it's just kind of like filling holes in the collection. And then also, because I have so many sneakers, I really try to find unique colorways, as you mentioned earlier. And the colorway of that sneaker is like very unique.
Yeah.
And then also we talked about earlier, like you've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing, right? That I just signed up for and confirmed, like nostalgia, or like the story behind it, just the uniqueness of the sneaker are also contributing factors as well.
Yep. So do you buy the shoes with the clothes that you have in your closet in mind? Or do you buy the shoes knowing that you have to buy the clothes to match it?
I'd say most oftentimes I have something that I would wear with it already, because I have so many clothes. But I do buy clothes specifically to go with sneakers, but I actually haven't recently, because I have a lot, right? That I've just kind of collected. I'm actually still waiting on a couple things from that Cactus Jack AP collaboration when they did the apparel with the Cactus Jack Royal Oak drop. So I got one T-shirt from that, which is like a black T-shirt with like Royal Oak components and the case and all that type of stuff.
Did
it's pretty interesting.
Did you have?
Yeah, like I'm waiting for a few other things.
Your third born to get that shirt.
and then I need to get a Royal Oak to match with it. So,
dude, Royal Oaks are awesome, dude. Like the offshores are legit. I love them.
Yeah, no, they are. One day I will for sure be there. Let's transition and talk a little bit about cars, man. Like we actually didn't get into cars at all in Tommy Style 1. Dude. And what are you driving these days?
Oh god, so X5, X5 F-150, my Ford Explorer, and I recently got rid of the 911.
How long had you had that 911?
God, I had that 911 since 2015, 2016, around there, almost 10 years.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I actually sold it to our friend. No, actually sold to JJ for short amount of money. But there's a caveat, though. The caveat is I get to buy it back when Xander graduates from college, and that's going to be his car.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Did you put a mileage limit on JJ?
He borrowed the car once a few years ago. He didn't tell me where he was going because I didn't care. We're all friends here, right? Until I found out he drove my car, the Porsche, all the way up to Canada.
What?
Yeah. I didn't know until like a mutual friend said, "Yeah, JJ's got your car up in Canada right now." So like, what the fuck? Can you bring it back though? Like, don't sell it, just bring it back.
Dude, you're lucky that thing didn't get stolen in Canada. Every car in Canada is ending up in West Africa these days.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's another problem in itself, right? But no, he was. I think he was trying to impress a date that time.
Oh, jeez.
He brought the car, so that's fine.
All right. So
you picked up something nice.
Yeah. I picked up an R8.
How do you like it?
I love it. I love it. The more I drive it, the more I love it. What I love most about it is that it's obviously really fast. It's a beautiful design. I love the rear of the car. The glass cover over the engine is just such a nice look. And I get like a ton of compliments on it as well. And it sounds good. And the only thing that I don't like about the R8, there's only one thing, is that there's no Bluetooth for my audio. So I have to. So I bought like this stupid FM transmitter that I have to transmit my streaming music through an FM channel on the dash, and every time I accelerate that thing, there's like a whizzing sound because the engine. It's so annoying, but that is what every R8 owner of that year vehicle has to deal with.
You can't change it.
And it's just wild. I could change it up, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I actually don't want to touch anything in it because my plan is I'm only going to drive it for up to 5,000 miles, and then I'm going to sell it. I bought it at a point with the right specs and the right mileage where I feel like I can drive it for up to 5,000 miles for relatively not much money.
Yeah.
I purchased it through my LLC in Montana. So there were massive tax advantages there as well.
You have Montana plates on there?
Dude, I'll tell you what, the state of Montana, right, is cool because they have no tax on vehicle purchases.
Yep.
But they are so slow. I still don't have my plates. I registered for the plates at the end of December. At the end of December, I've had 3 temp tags on that Audi. Yeah. And I actually called them. I called the state of Montana, the attorney that's kind of handling the plates and stuff for me. And I talked to them on Wednesday or Thursday last week. And I was like, hey, when am I going to get my permanent plates? And they were like, well, the county that we use in Montana we like using that county to get plates for our clients because there's no luxury tax. Some of the other counties do charge a luxury tax.
Right.
There's obviously no state tax associated with it. But they were like, they're just so slow. There's like one person there and it's in a very remote part of the state. And they're just really slow. And I was like, all right, I mean, I guess
as long
I'm
as
still
you're
driving
legal,
it.
right? If you're driving the car legal, fuck.
I'm driving the car legal. I've got the right temp tag on it, and I'm good to go. But I still don't have my permanent tag. I'm hoping I'll get it before I'm actually taking it racing next month up in Plainfield, which is right west of Indy, on a closed circuit road track. I signed up for like a weekend of education and racing, right? So I'm super psyched, and the whole point of me buying this car is like, yeah, it's a cool car and I'm going to drive it, but it's really just a networking tool. It is only a networking tool. I've already connected with like R8 owners in the Indianapolis area. They all, and shocking, they all buy luxury watches. So hopefully I'll be their luxury watch guy. What's that?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand, right? The luxury watch market.
Luxury watches and exotics. 100%.
Exotics. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I'm going to this racetrack, and I'm going there to network and get new clients and race. So,
yeah, I mean, you can't show up. I mean, you can't show up to the track in a fucking, Toyota Tercel hoping to talk to folks. Not anything wrong with Toyota Tercel. I'm not shitting on poor people, right?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am.
You're such an asshole.
Edit that shit out.
Yeah, man. And what I've actually also found this is a new thing for me is you probably got this a lot when you drove your 911 was every time I'm on the highway and I'm in that car, people want to race me. They all want to race me. So I drove down to Evansville, which is kind of it's a bigger town than I live in. It's not a major city, but it's a pretty big town. And it's like a 40-minute drive down this highway, straight shot. I had 3 people race me on that one trip. 2 of them on the way down, and it's like the most unlikely people. But as I was talking to other like exotic owners down in Evansville, they were like, "Oh, those are the people who always want to race you. It's the guys in the really, really big trucks." So I had this guy, like a huge, like Cummins engine Dodge or whatever. Literally, I was driving. He flies by me at 160 miles an hour. I'm not kidding. 160 miles an hour. And I was like, "You asshole." And I gunned it. And then I got up to him, and then we both stopped at a red light. I threw it in sport, and I just like ripped right off the line. I was like, "Dude,
did
you're
you
an
launch
ass."
it?
Yeah. And then I had like some guy in like a Dodge Hellcat on the way back north. He pulls up next to me. He rolls down his window. We're both cruising at highway speed, like 80. He rolls down his window. He's like, "Let's go." I'm like, what is happening to me?
Right?
I end up racing him.
Yeah. It's it's one of the hazards of owning exotic.
It really is, yeah.
Right?
It really is, yeah.
I mean, it's happened to me a couple of times, but it got to the point to where I had expression lights or fuck you lights. I had them installed in the spoiler. You know how the portion of the spoiler kind of goes up once it hits a certain mileage, or you just hit the button, spoiler goes up. I had brights within that, right? So if someone is tailgating me wanting to race, I just pop those up and just fucking flash them right in the eye. I don't think it's legal, but it discourages people from wanting to race.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that, man. I love it. All right, man. Let's transition into our sponsorship here for the podcast with Amberjack. So Amberjack, I've actually got their shoes behind me here. They were super nice and sent me one of their originals in Cobalt Blue. So we'll talk a little bit about this in a minute. But so Amberjack, these guys relatively new brand. They're founded with some guys out of Adidas, Cole Haan, and McKinsey, right? So pretty good, like, business pedigree
Aaron Rodgers
there.
sling him, right?
What's that? Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers.
Right? Yeah, who might be Robert F. Kennedy's running mate, I heard. So,
that's a fucking shit
it's
story.
crazy.
Go on.
It's crazy, yeah. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is like all over my Facebook, and like obviously right on their homepage is like Aaron Rodgers loves these shoes, right? So they call them the most advanced dress casual shoes, and the brand was started. They're frustrated with how stagnant dress shoes had become, and they wanted to do something about it. And so their unique value prop is great style, great materials, and insane comfort. So yeah, definitely check out their website, amberjack.com. And if you hit their website once, you'll get blasted with Aaron Rodgers ads. So
I love
Aaron
Rodgers. The guy's a stud.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is great. He's great. So they sent me these, which are this is the original in Cobalt Blue. I want to thank Blake Fennick over at Amberjack, who's their director of growth and marketing for the hookup with these. So these are water repellent Italian suede with sheepskin lining. And I really, really like the Cobalt Blue upper. Like, blue is probably my second favorite color next to green. I also really like the white midsole. I think the white midsole like really hits hard with this. And then you've got the nice, black outsole as well. So, very comfortable shoe. I wore this last week. I was up in Toronto visiting my company's headquarters, doing some meetings with my team, and I wore these for 3 days to really just kind of put them to the test, right? And so they are absolutely as advertised in terms of the comfort. I actually don't wear dress shoes very much these days. I try to like match my sneakers with my with my work outfit and attire, as we've talked about in the past. So this is my first time wearing a shoe like this, literally in probably years. But I do remember, like, back in the days, like I would have like the Brooks Brother brand, dress shoes, which were terribly uncomfortable. You would get blisters on your heels, discomfort, around, the knuckle on your feet. I mean, just like the list goes on. No blisters with these, super comfortable. And like, you kind of put them on for the first time and they're already broken in. I did get some compliments on these as well. I was wearing just like kind of blue slacks. One day I wore like kind of like a gray sweater with them with some blue slacks. And then the next day, kind of like some charcoal-y slacks with like kind of a blue denim shirt. And it all coordinated and fit really well. So yeah, very happy with these. I enjoyed wearing them. We'll definitely continue to feature them in my rotation. And shout out to Amberjack and thank you for sharing these. We really, really appreciate it.
Those look like really cool summer shoes too.
Yeah. They're versatile, right? I mean, the only thing I'd say is, like, because they're suede, they may not be like the best for summer, but you could probably pull it off. And see it, especially with that white midsole, right? That kind of changes the whole dynamic of the shoe. It really does. And I actually obviously I did pair them with a watch as well on my trip to Toronto. And I'm actually wearing the watch today. It wasn't very much of like an inspired pairing like I typically would do, just because I didn't have any of my blue dials remaining. I think this would look great with some of the Panerais that I actually have on the way, which are some blue dial Panerais with like maybe a white strap or a black leather strap. Would look great in either scenario. But I actually wore it with this. This is the Breitling Colt automatic, so very basic introductory Breitling here, and got some compliments on this watch as well. while I was up in Toronto. But again, it wasn't like a super inspired pairing, but you've got to wear, the luxury watch with the shoes when you're out, because it's all about accessorizing, looking good, feeling confident, having a little bit of fun while you're out on business, right?
Yeah. What color dials do you think it's going to hit this year?
So I feel like last year, the past 18 months, it was green dials.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like the green dial thing is definitely died out. I always have so much luck with white dials, and it's kind of, so I don't know, like, I think white dials will consistently, like, they'll continue to do well.
Yeah.
So like that's not going to go away. I don't know if a particular color is going to pop this year, but I think just anything that's unique, like, or maybe a unique combination or something that is relatively scarce in terms of like a dial combination, or like a particular look when it comes to a skeleton, and how maybe the sub dials have like a unique color there. And so, yeah, I don't know if I have a call on a particular color, but I'd say like anything that's like really unique and interesting, because you mentioned earlier, like, Omegas kind of all look the same, and it's like, oh, let's just throw a white dial on something that used to have a black dial. Not really inspiring, but I think there's some really cool color combinations with Planet Oceans, and you look for some, like, I've actually got a Planet Ocean coming in that's it's like a black ceramic, and it's got some gold on it, and I think that's gonna like hit pretty hard. It's always a great combo. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have a call on it, but what do you think?
I think it'll be more boring this year. I don't think it'll be like the bright color ones. I think it'll just be more like a, what I would really want to see catch on? I really want to see a salmon dial catch on.
Did you say salmon or sand?
A salmon.
Salmon. Okay, yeah. I mean, I love salmon, man. I love salmon dial.
Yeah. Like, I would love to see that catch on more. Yeah, I mean, gosh, I think it's going to be a boring year when it comes to dials. Last few years, it's very bright. I think we're kind of toning it down a bit. What do you think about skeletonized dials, though? I haven't seen those around in a bit.
Huge fan of skeleton dial. Huge fan. From a trading perspective, skeleton dials are very reliable sellers for deal flow. I've had tag skeleton dials. I've had Hublot. I know your favorite brand, Hublot. I've had their skeleton dials. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah, like, what, you don't see them with Breitlings, Omegas, Panerais. Cartier does some skeleton dials that are pretty cool.
Zenith, used to. I don't know if they still
do. Zenith, the heartbeat, the open heartbeat dial. That is one of my favorite watches. The El Primero open heartbeat.
Yeah, that's a brand not a lot of people talk about too. That's another Aaron Rodgers brand right there. It's the Zenith.
Oh, is it?
Right? I have a date for that.
Yeah, I love the El Primero line in that open heartbeat. Beautiful, beautiful watch. I was able to enjoy one of those for like a few weeks before it sold on Chrono.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that was a great watch. I can't wait to get another one. I miss it.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, man. Hey, last question before we wrap here, because I know we are almost at time. So this is actually this is a question I've been thinking a little bit about, and I wanted to get your take on it as well. Nothing really to do with watches or sneakers, but we hold diverse conversations here on Time Eats Style, so it is just as relevant. Who do you think are the role models in today's society for kids? You've got a couple kids. Who are the role models for these kids today?
Good question. I would say me.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's raising my kids, right? And honestly, if there are any kids role models or athletes, celebrities, singers, and any of that, right? Check yourself, right? Make sure that you're being a good parent, right? Kids, again, I'm kind of old fashioned, I'm kind of traditional, right? If my thing is about value, I want my kids to, I want to be the role model for my kids. That's why I work as hard as I do, right? That's why I sacrifice as much as I do, just so that they know, that life isn't meant to be easy, right? Life is tough.
Yeah.
Right? Work through it. Suck it the fuck up. Nothing's ever handed to you. Work for your shit. That's what I want to, that's what I want to share with the kids. So yeah, I should be the role model. It shouldn't be anybody that you see on TV or YouTube.
Right. Because there, in my opinion, there are no role models in our society today, for the most part, that are popular culture figures. I think about athletes. There is no athlete out there that I know of that is anybody that I would ever aspire my girls to be like.
Right.
And I know that's probably a short-sighted comment, because there probably are some amazing athletes out there that are have strong faith, great work ethic, are respectful, high integrity, and look out for their communities in a really responsible way. You just don't see them, right? You just don't see them, and I think it's because our culture doesn't reward that behavior nearly as much as the opposite. I think a lot about Cat Williams, right? And Cat is somebody that I think is a great role model. Doesn't have all the right it doesn't necessarily have all the right background. He's obviously mixed it up with some really rough people.
Yeah.
But he has emerged as somebody that I think there should be more people like him in our society and elevate in our society that challenge the conventional rules and thinking in a way that's really productive and kind of different.
You can't.
What's that?
It seems like anytime you challenge, I don't think you can nowadays, though, right? I mean, nowadays you challenge anything, you get put into a bucket, right? You're a homophobe.
Yeah, you're a bigot, you're racist.
Right. You're all of this stuff, right? And it doesn't solve anything, right? So sometimes people just keep their mouth shut, right? Instead of saying what they want to say. Right. It's tough because you tell your kids to stand up for what they believe in, right? And speak out when you have to, right? But with the fear of getting canceled by that crowd, right? People are afraid to speak out.
Yeah.
I just wish that similar to what we said, there are people like us, or at least like us out there, who don't give a shit, right? Go cancel me, right? I don't care, but at least things needs to be said. And the conflict I have is that the right approach nowadays, right? Would that set my kid up for failure to encourage them to speak up? I don't know what the answer is, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell them that if you feel strongly about it, speak up. I'll help you deal with the consequences, right? But it's not as easy as it was, say, 5-6 years ago.
No, not at all. I think the pendulum has to swing the other way eventually, because all of these moments, I do believe through history, ebb and flow. It's just really taking longer than I think a lot of us would like. But you do see more and more people speaking out, and the truth kind of coming out, and which I think allows us to elevate people, back to my question, that I think can be great role models for kids. Because in my opinion, like the figures that are elevated are like the opposite of whatever I would want my kids to emulate. So yeah, I think like the right answer is you for sure. I think we also try to like really have like a biblical focus around like in our house, and like, try to keep the Bible open and like dig into it when we can, and try to pray together, go to church, all that type of stuff, which I think is, Jesus is like the ultimate role model. We can't ever be as like perfect as he was, but we can remind our kids of like his life and the meaning of his life as a way to influence in a really positive way, right? So that's kind of how we're thinking about it. But it's just really hard. It's really, really hard because your kids don't really care about that. They don't want to hear it. They want to just continue to, at least my girls want to continue to watch reels and YouTube.
Yeah, but you choose your battles, right? Stay consistent. That's the only thing I could say, with kids, stay consistent. They need structure. They want structure. It's always easier to say, fuck it, right? Fuck it. I'll let the iPad be the parent for me. Don't do that. Right? Mm-hmm. Raise your kid. Don't let the iPad raise your kid.
Yeah, I know. It's tough, man. It's tough to be a parent, but always good to get your opinion on that, as well as everything else. Let's kind of put a bow here on Time Eats Style. I mean, we've been on for more than 50 minutes. It's flown by.
Holy shit. Time flies when you're having
fun. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, really good to catch up. Thanks for jumping in and spending some time with me to catch up, geek out on all things watches and sneakers. Thanks to Amberjack for the originals and for giving us an opportunity to feature those on the pod today. And until next time, we'll see you on Time Eats Style.
Hey, this is Eric. I'm a sneakerhead and I love luxury watches. Timely Souls combines both passions. We help enthusiasts to tastefully pair the right sneaker and watch, be distinctive, have fun, and look good for one of three occasions: the big event, the business trip, or date night. Think about the opportunities when you merge the right color scheme, story, and design when you match the right sneaker and watch. That's what fuels my passion here at Timely Souls. Welcome to Timely Souls, where time meets style.